Hi, I'm Rebecca Hope. I'm director of Mid-Metro Academy. I'd like to talk to you about how you can prepare your student to thrive in the gig economy. First, you might be asking, what is the gig economy? Well, it's a type of employment. You're familiar with regular employment, where workers get hired by a company, an employer. They work a regular schedule, they earn a salary or wage that has been agreed upon, and they may receive benefits. They punch a clock in and out. This is regular employment. But gig employment is different. Clients will seek someone with specific skills or expertise to complete a specific task that they need to have done. Then workers find out about that need and choose the job or the gig that they want. And in doing so, they're able to set their own schedule and choose the work that they want to do. Examples of gigs, this is all very familiar. Some of them: babysitter, dog walker, a handyman, a yard worker, a house cleaner. Tutors, Uber drivers, movers are other examples. Home organizers or home stagers is becoming quite a thing. Photographers, graphic designers, programmers, bookkeepers, virtual assistants. Those are people who help companies online in a variety of different capacities. Musicians perform gig work, and magicians perform gig work. One thing that the gig economy has that has developed over the last few years especially are these platforms where employers can post their job tasks that they are looking for. Examples of those are Upwork, Fiverr, remote.com, we work remotely, freelancer.com. Those are more for the online type of gigs. Then there's quick.com, which is for food service. Handy.com, TaskRabbit, Thumbtack are other examples of places where those who want household services performed can post their tasks. So here's how this gig economy platform cycle works. The client will post a job. Workers are looking at those sites and they apply for the jobs that appeal to them. And then the client chooses a specific worker who then performs the task. The client pays the worker, often through PayPal or Venmo or another service like that. And then the client will post a review of how satisfied he was with the work that was done by that employee. And then hopefully it's a positive review. Then when another client posts a job, that client will read the reviews and choose among the available bids on the job. And so the way it works is that the more gigs you complete successfully on a given platform, the higher your rating goes on that platform and the more likely you are to be hired again. Well, platforms are optional in the gig economy. There are many ways to get gigs: word of mouth, networking, having a personal website, using social media marketing like Facebook, Instagram, and so on, and of course, traditional advertising. So a gig worker can use a combination of those to find gigs and to keep his or her business going. Gig economy jobs are moving from the fringe to the mainstream. The gig economy is actually growing 3 times faster than the traditional workforce. There were 59 million freelancers last year compared to 127 million full-time workers. So you can see that those are representing a large portion of the job force. And the projection for next year is that 52% of the US workforce will have participated in the gig economy or will be currently participating in the gig economy. Not surprisingly, millennials and Gen Zers are making up the biggest proportion of gig workers. They are the digital natives, after all, who feel very comfortable finding jobs on these platforms. They represent 56% of the freelancers. Well, you can participate in the gig economy either as a side hustle or as full-time work. A lot of people choose this as a way to support themselves during college or trade school, or they might want to earn extra spending money. They might be saving toward a specific goal, like purchasing a home, or some people just want to be paid for doing something that they love, which is a cool option. Other people will use these gig jobs as placeholders during a job search as a fallback in case they're laid off or fired from a position, or just as a fulfilling career in a long-term setting. Well, so why should a high school student prepare for work in the gig economy? Several reasons. One is as a safety net, and two, because there are some significant benefits of the gig economy and some good income potential. So let's talk about those. Here's a kid who was in Night at the Museum. And Larry, he says he wants to be a bond trader, but previously he wanted to be a hockey star. And so his dad, Larry, says to him, wait a minute. He says the bond trader is his fallback position. And Larry says, wait a minute, you're too young to have a fallback, okay? And also, where did you even hear that word? He's maybe about 11, right? So it's ironic because Larry, of course, has not succeeded in any career as an adult. And could have used a fallback position, but also the idea that a young person wants to be able to pursue his dreams and not count on the fallback position, right? But we do want our students, our kids, to be prepared for any eventuality and be able to make it in the real world. And so the gig economy offers a chance for them to do that. One thing that's new is that people are changing jobs a lot. It's not where in the old days people used to get a degree and work in that career and maybe be a lifer at a company. That's very rare right now. Workers age 55 and up have been at their given job for about 10 years, but younger workers change jobs frequently and usually are at their job only about 3 years. What are the benefits of working in the gig economy? Why would someone want to do that or pursue that type of career? Well, flexibility is a huge one. 60% of people working in the gig economy feel that they have flexibility compared to 27% of traditional employees. There's a lot of work-life balance that comes out of having that flexibility. So 70% of those who work in the gig economy believe that they have good work-life balance. Job satisfaction, surprisingly, I think 77% are very satisfied with their job when they're working their gigs. And of course, that ability to set their own schedule is huge. Other benefits that gig workers have listed as reasons why they choose that type of work. They like being their own boss. They like choosing among different projects to pick the ones that are suitable for them. They may be able to avoid commuting depending on the type of gig work they're doing. They can have better productivity. If they're not going into an office, they are avoiding the office politics and distractions. And they like not being dependent on any one employer. So again, they have that kind of safety net if something goes down with a particular employer. What is the income potential? How much can someone expect to earn working as a gig employee? Well, freelancers do tend to make more per hour than traditional employees. Skilled freelancers, so those who've been doing it for a while, are averaging about $28 per hour. That hourly wage puts them above 70% of earners in the US right now. And then there are those at the top, the 20% of freelancers are making over $100,000 per year. So the potential is there to make a significant income in the gig economy. Minnesota is a good place to be a freelancer. We rank 7 out of 50 among the states for freelance salaries. But really, it's not all about the money. More than 50% of gig workers say that no amount of money could entice them back into the traditional workforce. Well, gig work isn't for everyone, and I would point out the cautions. It just requires discipline. It requires a work ethic. It can produce anxiety because you don't necessarily know where those next paychecks are coming from. You're kind of always looking for the next gig. And often, usually, there are not benefits associated with this. So out of that extra hourly wage, you have to purchase your own health care and retirement plans. And it takes time to build up earnings potential, to make a name for yourself, to create a client base. However, it also takes time to work up the ladder in a corporate setting, right? So those are kind of similar in that way. Well, how can you prepare as a homeschooler your student to thrive in the gig economy? You do, because of homeschooling, have the ability to give unique advantages and opportunities to your student. For example, you can take advantage of a variety of classes. You can help your student direct his studies or her studies, her high school plan, toward classes that will help that person, your student, thrive in the gig economy. American gig workers do value what we call the soft skills. And I'll talk about what those are in a second, but 78% of those who responded to a survey agreed that the soft skills are as important as the technical skills in their particular field. So what are those soft skills? Those are things like being able to communicate well, problem-solving skills, critical thinking skills, being able to think through something and figure it out, initiative, teamwork, leadership, and even things like Zoom etiquette is so much becoming so important nowadays, since so much communication is done online. So things like that will help the gig worker be more successful. Almost 90% of freelancers wish that their education had prepared them better for gig work. So there we have it. There's a hole that we don't want our students to come back and say, but you never helped me with this, right? So this is a need that is out there that current gig workers are saying, oh, if only my prior education had taken this into account. So you can do that as a homeschooler. You can help your student develop the soft skills, and you can help your student explore various career options that are out there. Then you can, if your student finds something that really clicks with him or her, then you can help your student get started with the technical side of that and start to learn some specific skills while still in high school. And you can help your student launch his or her own business while she or he is still in high school. Well, Mid-Metro Academy would love to help you with those goals. We do have a number of classes. So Mid-Metro Academy offers classes for homeschooled students that meet once a week. We're focusing our classes on students in 7th to 12th grades who are homeschooled. We meet on Mondays and Wednesdays, and our classes will meet one day a week, so either Monday or Wednesday. We have a number of classes we offer that will help build the soft skills. We have a teamwork and leadership class. Acting classes are great for helping students to empathize and understand people and read social cues. We have a communication class that's specifically geared for real world social interactions, especially in a business employment type setting. We've got a great career exploration class where students can become familiar with the opportunities that are out there. A worldviews class, because we want students to have that grounding in ethics and morality as they launch themselves into the work world. Even swing dancing, you might not think is something for a soft skill, but in swing dancing, you need to learn to lead and follow and read cues and pick up on where your partner is going. So it's a great way to develop empathy and learn those soft skills. Our academic classes, which we have a lot of, use what is called the flipped classroom approach. And in the flipped classroom, when the students come to class, they come into an interactive, dynamic environment where there's a lot of personal communication going on, problem-solving thinking skills that happen in the classroom. The class meets for an hour and a half, which would take up like 2 days worth of like a traditional 5-day-a-week class school setting. And then the remaining 3 days worth of work then are done at home. And that's where they would access the content through videos, textbooks, assignments, homework, and that type of thing. So for instance, when I taught in a classroom, 5-day-a-week private school, often a couple of days a week, I'd give my students seat work to do. They'd be reading a story. They'd be answering questions in their book. Okay, those are all things that can happen for a homeschooling family in the comfort of your own home and on your schedule. But then when you come to the classroom, it's not just an info dump of the teacher's brain into the student brains, but it's very interactive learning, which is the type of learning that develops the soft skills and develops problem solving and communication skills more so than just sitting in a seat and listening to a teacher lecture, right? So all of our classes are set up that way. Geography in particular is a great chance for students to interact. They do simulations of what happens between countries and what happens if there's a famine or what happens if there's a shortage. How do countries interrelate with each other? So they get to experience what it feels like to be a country, right? But at the same time, they're having a lot of interpersonal relations with the other kids in the class. Our science classes have the experiments that they are developing critical thinking and problem solving skills. Our US history and government classes are run by teachers who are very interactive and really get the students thinking about issues in politics and history. Student Senate, we have a unique Student Senate program led by Dave Racer, whom we call America's civics teacher, and students actually play the role of a senator, and they craft a bill and they bring in leaders from the community to interview and grill on the topics that they're investigating, which the class chooses. So it's a great, terrific program that develops students into real world thinkers and being able to participate in issues in society. Our writing classes, of course, students need to be able to communicate with the written word. And Read, Think, Write is a literature and writing class, which also has a lot of student interaction and helps students kind of grapple with a lot of ideas that they might not run across in any other setting, and it just kind of broadens their understanding of the world and of people. So then we also offer a variety of technical skills classes, and we're proud that we are offering more of these classes than you can get anywhere else for homeschooling students. We have culinary arts, crafting for fun and profit, photography, online media, memory and magic, where students can learn how to do magic tricks and become a party entertainer. So instead of babysitting for $15 an hour, they can go and do a party for an hour and make $100, $150, $200, whatever they are able to charge, and no changing diapers, right? We have a lot of technical skills in the computer side, programming, also bookkeeping, graphic design, build your own website, and start your own business. We have some great success stories for the 2 years that we've been operating and running this career development side of our class offerings. One of my favorite ones is our student, Vivian McCune, who took our graphic design class, and she's a terrific illustrator. And I was working as an editor with these children's book authors, and they asked me if I knew of an illustrator. So I was able to talk to our graphic design teachers and connect them with Vivian, who now is just graduating this year and has, there we go. She has her own book already up on Amazon that she has illustrated. We have a bookkeeping student who landed a bookkeeping gig after 1 or 2 semesters, I can't remember which, of our bookkeeping class. And we have a photography student who landed an internship after taking 1 semester of our photography class, and a couple of students who were offered programming internships after they took our programming classes. So these are just showing that these students are really getting out there and gaining the skills and gaining those soft skills as well that are going to make them successful in the gig economy. If you would like to know more, we had where this presentation was done, a table, but you can go to our website. You can sign up to receive a copy of our free ebook, and you can see our full schedule of 2022, 2023 classes that we're offering. We'd love to chat with you. You can email me at director@midmetroacademy.com. Thanks for listening.